how is that better than using like a food grade surfactant, which we can't get certified? So I just, there are certain things that I feel are really arbitrary. How do you weigh those in your evaluation? Because and let me just say for everybody listening, please check out leafscore.com. So we're talking specifically about leaf, L-E-A-F, as in the leaf from a tree, leafscore.com, where you'll find so many different categories. Leigh, you've done an incredible job. I mean, you've got auto, you've got baby and kids, bath, bed, cosmetics, fitness, garden, kitchen, living, pet. I mean, I aspire to being on your website, by the way. But the truth is you've really dived into a lot of different categories. I mean, there's got to be, just your vast wealth of experience and knowledge in these different ingredients and categories. You and I know just as well if it's natural, it doesn't mean it's safe. Arsenic is organic and natural, but you wouldn't want to be consuming it. So,
for sure.
I think it's very important for people to understand just because it says all natural or, and sometimes it is all natural and sometimes that is really how you describe it, but that in and of itself is not necessarily enough.
And conversely, I would say as well that sometimes we can pick up something in the grocery store, say a bottle of shampoo, and it has a whole list of chemicals on the back of it, and it freaks us out for good reason, because a lot of those chemicals may be endocrine disruptors. They may sensitize the skin so that you're actually becoming more likely to develop contact dermatitis. But there are also a lot of chemicals in there that are actually natural chemicals that have no negative effects. So another part of what I do is basically go through the associated health information for every single chemical for every product that is listed on the site. So over time, that has become a quicker process for sure as I get used to, my stearates and sterols and all those things. I have a pretty solid database. I also use the environmental working group reports that amalgamate various studies. So really just filtering through all of those things, which is really the intention of Leafscore, because I mean, to be honest, who other than me, because it's my job, has time to look up those things when you're just, you need to wash your hair, you need to wash your face, you're looking for like glittery nail polish for the office party. Maybe not right now, but
right.
But like how, who has time to start looking through all of those reports?
And today is National Clean Beauty Day. Have you ever wondered, is rinsing my produce with the water that comes out of the sink that I don't even drink enough to really clean it? Well, then you're one of the smartest people I know, because you're absolutely right. It's not enough. That's why we created the only all-natural and patented line of food wash and wipes, and it's called Eat Cleaner. It's tasteless, odorless, and lab tested, and it removes up to 99.9% of the residue that water can't, including pesticides, wax, soil, and junk that can carry bacteria that can really make you sick. Plus, we formulated it to help extend the shelf life of your fresh produce too, and that'll save you money. When your berries are lasting up to 10-12 days, you know that's a good thing. It helps your produce last up to 5 times longer using a natural blend of fruit acids and antioxidants. So there's no chemicals. It's just clean, eating fun. And this can help save your family an average of over $500 per year. Make it easy on yourself, reduce waste, and get that fruit and veggies into your body, where it's going to do you a lot of good and not in the trash. Check us out, eatcleaner.com, or head to our Amazon store at amazon.com/eatcleaner. As we record this. Even though my life is, and what my work is dedicated to is mostly food related, I am on a mission now because I had a severe irritant dermatitis situation from a lip product that I used. And, I went back and forth with the company many times asking for disclosure on their ingredients. And, up and down, they said everything is FDA approved. Well, listen, FDA approves literally tens of thousands of ingredients. And it doesn't mean that the combination of them is good. So, even though you would look at it and say, well, it's just cinnamon leaf and it's just this and that. Well, the combination of all of those irritants created a severe swelling situation around my mouth. I couldn't eat for 9 days.
Wow.
It was on the inside and the outside of my lips. I mean, I looked like I had 5 doses of Botox.
Whoa.
And blistering and cracking and bleeding. And now, it's over a month later. This just happened like in the midst of all of the chaos of quarantine. Yeah. And this was just from a lip gloss.
I feel like behind the scenes, you're going to have to tell me which company that was.
I will. And I will share that information with you, because if they don't play nice, I don't play nice. Because they refuse to change their packaging. And that's what I'm really pushing them to do. But there's no warnings on the packaging about all of these irritants. And now I have kind of permanent darkening around, not permanent, but darkening around my lips. Yeah. I have to use a product to lighten them just to get them back to normal for the next 2 months. So I guess all I'm saying is, buyer beware. And I think going to a place like you said, Leigh, where you've done the research, you've dug in and evaluated these things, is going to give people so much peace of mind. How do you actually, I see you have a rating system. How do you rate? Like, for example, I see you have a nail polish on here. It's just 2 out of 5. How do you come to that rating?
So that one is a little difficult. When we started out, it was very much, we looked at whether the majority of the ingredients in something were natural and organic and certified, and safe and non-toxic. But as things have progressed, as I said, I sort of look more at the full life cycle of something as well. So if a company, if say a big company makes a single product that is, an organic cotton blanket, but the rest of their range is entirely synthetic, uses azo dyes that can be carcinogenic, and uses conventional cotton that is one of the most heavily polluting textiles in the world, the scores will shift. But the methodology is all on the website. We're very transparent with that. There's a very long, nerdy write-up of how I approach everything, which, if people are interested in checking it out, then they can. I think that's under the About tab on the website. There's methodology. So it does go through what each leaf represents. So say if something is 5 leaves, it's going to be 100% organic, no synthetic ingredients. It's going to be, it will have all of the major certifications that are relevant and actually meaningful. If it's a household appliance, say like a refrigerator, then it will have a good energy efficiency rating, which is a whole other topic that I could get into and get very mathematically nerdy about. And the other thing is that it will be made by a socially, environmentally responsible company, because I really, as good as it is for companies to start diversifying their product ranges to introduce natural, safe, organic products, I'm not going to pander to that. So if a company has a reputation for making things that have harmed people, that have harmed the environment, that continue to harm the environment and people, then just because they make one single eco-friendly thing, it doesn't necessarily put them in my good books. Whereas if there's a scrappy little startup that has sort of started out with the mission to make something that is better for people, planet, and animals, if there are animals involved or not, then those are the ones that I am really enthusiastic about highlighting, because I think a lot of the time, it does take us getting kind of angry about how companies take our money for granted, and we step in, see the problem, and create a solution, just like you have done.
Well, and when I see things, I mean, and here's part of my greenwashing thing that drives me crazy. When I
Yeah.
see just things like the word vegan,
Yeah.
okay, or the word gluten free. I know that that's not, that's more of a
Yeah.
dietary thing. But to me, those are just words and they just mean that there's no animal based products in there, okay? If
Yeah.
you've got a nail polish that's vegan, that's fantastic. Chances
Yeah.
are, you can make a pretty, you can
Still
make
got
a,
formaldehyde in
yeah,
there.
you still got other crap going on in there,
Yeah. Microplastics and
yeah,
yeah.
same for
Yeah.
gluten free. So I think,
Yeah.
there again, another really important reason to just check out. Have you ever had a company lash back at you? I mean, I'm sure some companies don't take very kindly to having their products evaluated in a negative fashion. Like, have you had any repercussions and how do you handle that?
Not any major backlash. And I think part of that is because very early on we did initially have sort of the idea of having smokestacks as well as leaves. So for any companies I found that were like particularly egregious, but we really wanted to maintain it as a positive space and just not give the airtime
Yeah.
to companies that we don't support and we don't think are actually fighting the good fight. So if there is a product category that I'm really, really struggling to find genuinely eco-friendly and safe and non-toxic products, then I may include ones that are sort of one or two leaves. And they're still, the idea there is that they're still doing something that's a bit better than the standard. We do have the brown leaves idea, but I honestly don't think I've used that yet because again, I really don't want to give that space to people because as you know, with SEO and algorithms, Google algorithms, if you have a page that has the best eco-friendly whatever on there, and then you have a company name associated with that, then it doesn't necessarily translate that we're actually talking about them in the negative.
Right.
So there's that sort of consideration too. But yeah, normally companies are pretty happy to be listed because we're highlighting their merits. There are occasionally companies who will say that's not true, like we're doing better, and I'm like, okay, update your
Show
website then
me.
please.
Yeah,
Like,
show
I
me
have
the
dug
proof.
through, yeah, like
Right.
do you have an annual environmental report from this year, because the last one I see is from 2014, which I actually just did with Jaguar. I was writing about electric vehicles and their last environmental report that was actually on their site was from I think it was 2014, and they've had other ones but they just weren't putting them up on the site. So but it took me getting in touch with the company and actually saying, hey, like you're a big company, sort this out.
Right.
Like transparency is great, but I like actually need to see those reports to see that. Yeah.
So there's a lot of reviews out there that people can read. And I know that, there's a lot of people self-publishing, which is great. But I think the word to the wise is some of those are paid. So
Yeah.
just to know that the way you approach your reviews is obviously just straight data and facts versus that. Has there ever been a product that you were evaluating or a brand, and you don't need to call them out specifically unless you want to, but you were just like, wow, they are really greenwashing. Like they're coming out with all of these claims, but the truth is not so much.
I mean, I'm sure there has. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any specific examples.
But they exist.
They do exist, and
Yeah.
there was one company. Let me think. I think it was when I was researching the nail polish articles for the site, and nail polish has a lot of like as standard has a lot of ingredients that can have adverse effects on health, and so there's a sort of movement within that particular industry to have things marketed as 5 free or 8 free or 9 free, and so it's sort of there's this like arbitrary list of formaldehyde and ethylene, and but a bunch of chemicals that are very standard